The average person reads less than one book per year. One book. And yet the people who read consistently, even just 15 minutes a day, earn significantly more, live longer, and report dramatically higher levels of life satisfaction. That gap is not a coincidence. It is neuroscience. In the next 10 minutes, you are going to discover exactly what happens inside your brain the moment you open a book, why reading fiction makes you better at your job, and the one finding from neuroscience that completely flips the common advice about speed reading on its head. Most people think reading is simply about absorbing information. What the research shows is something far more profound, and far more powerful, than that. For most of human history, reading was not something ordinary people did. It was a skill reserved for priests, scholars, and the elite. The average person in ancient Rome or medieval Europe lived and died without ever reading a single sentence. Writing systems themselves are only about 5,000 years old, a blink of an eye in evolutionary terms. The printing press did not arrive until 1440. Mass literacy is, in the grand timeline of our species, an almost brand new phenomenon. And yet the human brain adapted to reading with remarkable speed and efficiency, which tells you something critical about what the act of reading actually triggers inside us. Neuroscientist Stanislas Dehaene calls this process neuronal recycling. Your brain was never built for reading. There is no reading center in the human brain the way there is a visual cortex or motor cortex. Instead, reading hijacks existing neural systems, visual processing, language comprehension, emotional regulation, and forces them to work together in a coordinated network. Every time you sit down with a book, you are literally rewiring your neural pathways. You are building cognitive infrastructure. And here is the first thing nobody tells you about that process. It does not stop when you close the book. A 2013 study from Emory University measured brain activity in participants who read a novel over 9 days. They used fMRI scans to monitor neural connectivity both during the reading period and for 5 days after it ended. What they found was extraordinary. Heightened connectivity persisted long after the reading stopped, particularly in regions associated with language processing and sensory motor systems, the same systems your brain uses to physically experience the world. The researchers described this as a biological shadow of the reading experience. The book leaves a mark on your brain that lingers for days. But what kind of mark? That depends entirely on what you read. Multiple studies have now confirmed that reading literary fiction, as opposed to non-fiction or popular fiction, produces measurable gains in what psychologists call theory of mind. Theory of mind is your ability to understand that other people have thoughts, feelings, and perspectives that are different from your own. It is foundational to empathy, negotiation, leadership, and social intelligence. Psychologist David Comer Kidd at the New School for Social Research ran a series of experiments in 2013 showing that participants who read literary fiction performed significantly better on empathy tests than those who read nonfiction or nothing at all. The effect was immediate and measurable after a single reading session. Why does this happen? Because literary fiction, unlike most nonfiction, forces your brain to infer. Characters are not explained to you. Their motivations are ambiguous. Their emotions are shown, not stated. Your brain has to actively work to understand them, and in doing so, it rehearses the same cognitive muscles you use to navigate real human relationships. Every novel is a social simulation your brain runs at full intensity. Now pause for a moment and consider what this means practically. Every executive, manager, parent, and partner who dismisses fiction as entertainment rather than serious reading is walking away from one of the most powerful tools available for human development. But the benefits do not stop at empathy. Reading is one of the most consistently validated protections against cognitive decline as we age. A 2021 study published in the journal Neurology found that people who engaged in cognitively stimulating activities, with reading ranking at the top, had significantly lower rates of dementia even when accounting for genetics, education level, and physical health. The researchers estimated that regular readers had a cognitive reserve that amounted to years of protective buffer against neurological aging. Your brain is a muscle in this specific way. The more you challenge it, the longer it stays sharp. And the stress reduction data is striking. A 2009 study from the University of Sussex found that just 6 minutes of reading reduced cortisol levels and muscle tension by up to 68%. That outperformed listening to music, going for a walk, and drinking tea. 6 minutes. The researchers concluded that reading forces a level of focused attention and cognitive engagement that effectively interrupts the stress response cycle at a biological level. So we know reading rewires the brain, builds empathy, protects against cognitive aging, and reduces stress faster than almost anything else. Now here is where it gets even more interesting, and this is the finding that most popular advice completely ignores. Speed reading does not work. Not in the way it is marketed. The speed reading industry generates hundreds of millions of dollars annually, promising to triple or quadruple your reading speed while maintaining full comprehension. Tim Ferriss has talked about it. Major corporations offer it as productivity training. And the neuroscience is unambiguous, it is largely a myth. A comprehensive 2016 review published in Psychological Science in the Public Interest, led by researcher Elizabeth Schroeder, analyzed all available evidence on speed reading and concluded that there is a fundamental trade-off between speed and comprehension that cannot be bypassed. The eye can only fixate on so many words per minute before the brain loses the ability to build meaning. Push past roughly 400 words per minute and comprehension collapses, even if your eyes are technically processing the text. This matters because it reframes the entire goal of reading. The point is not volume. The point is depth. A person who reads one book slowly, who pauses to think, who rereads paragraphs, who sits with difficult ideas, that person is getting neurological benefits that someone skimming 10 books a month simply is not accessing. Deep reading activates the prefrontal cortex, the seat of critical thinking and complex decision-making, in ways that surface-level processing does not. Author and scholar Marianne Wolf, who spent decades studying the reading brain, argues that deep reading is a cognitive state that is increasingly under threat in the digital age. The brain trained on social media, on notifications, on rapid scrolling, begins to lose its capacity for the sustained focus that deep reading requires. She calls this a literacy of attention, a separate and learnable skill that demands deliberate practice. You do not just read books. You train your brain to tolerate depth. And this is where the real-world implications become urgent. Research from the Pew Research Center shows that the number of Americans who have not read a single book in the past year has tripled since 1978. At the same time, rates of anxiety, loneliness, cognitive decline, and workplace disengagement have all risen substantially. These trends are correlated, not randomly. The erosion of deep reading is connected to the erosion of the cognitive and emotional capacities it builds. The people who maintain a reading practice, even a modest one, are quietly compounding cognitive capital every single day. They are building larger vocabularies, which research directly links to higher income potential. They are strengthening their working memory. They are expanding their capacity to hold complex ideas in tension and reason through them carefully. They are developing empathy that makes them better leaders, better partners, better humans. Reading is not a hobby. It is a biological investment. Every book you finish deposits something into a neural account that pays dividends for years. The research is clear, the mechanism is understood, and the barrier to entry is almost zero. 15 minutes a day is enough to begin rewiring your brain. One book a month is enough to place you in the top percentage of readers in the modern world. The question was never whether reading works. Before you go, if you learned something valuable today, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Get Up Life for a brand new video every single day. We will see you in the next one.